Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Obviously, I'm Alicia DeCepola, Millville Public School District's Digital Literacy and Learning Specialist, and these are some of my friends. If you want to take a second to introduce yourselves, we could just go top down.
I am Jen Salvati. I'm one of the digital ambassadors, and I teach STEM and gaming and coding at Lakeside.
Hi, I'm Meg Finney. I am the librarian/media specialist for both high school buildings, and I am the ambassador for both high school buildings.
I am Justin Dodge. I teach sixth grade language arts at Lakeside, and I am also a digital ambassador at Lakeside Middle School.
Awesome. So obviously you're here because we're using Google Meet for virtual learning, and you're here because you want to learn more about it. Specifically, you're probably here because I named it breaking out of the basics, so you know what this is about. We are going to talk about creating breakout rooms in Google Meet. But before we do that, I do want to address probably the most important thing that's on everyone's mind, and I'm going to ask Meg from the high school to talk a little bit about it, because I know she broke everything down in an email for us, and just talking about security and how to continuously make Meet secure and just do everything you can to make it as secure as possible. So it's all you, Meg.
All right, let me share my screen right quick so I can show you guys. Okay, all right. Ooh, we're getting meta here. Okay, so basically, I sort of did a rundown of all the ways you can secure your meets in an email, and I'll just quickly show you everything I can. Some things I'll just have to kind of explain, and you'll get what I'm saying, because I'm sure you've already experienced it. But basically, the best idea is to, number one, do your Meet links through your classroom. I know some people like to do calendar, and if you're comfortable with that, that's great. Do whatever works for you. I just know there's a little bit more security involved with the classroom link. And so as you can see, I have mine here right now. And just in case you're not aware, I think we all are by now though, if you go into the settings for your class and you scroll down, this is where you can see the Meet information. So right now, this is my link. Right now it is visible to students. But if I decided I want to be extra secure, what you can do is after every time you meet with your class, you can click this little drop down and you can go ahead and reset it. You can also decide to not make it visible to students in the banner, and you may want to wait and put it into an announcement. It's totally up to you how you want to do that. And that's just the way you can kind of start being secure on the classroom end. And it's just a matter of what you're comfortable doing. So in Meet, what you can do too, and this is going to look really weird because we're here and we're there and we're everywhere. Basically, when you are the host, which I'm not right now, but I'll still be able to explain it. When you have your students coming in from your class, they'll be able to get right in, no problem. That's the idea, just funnel them right through. And what you can do is if you have any problem friends in your class, which I know none of us do at all, ever, what you can do is you can click to show the little people tab. So if I were the host and Alicia was just really, doing something terrible, or she just maybe she just is a little talkative and I just need her to like quiet down for a second, I can go ahead and mute her here. So I can't mute her now because she's already muted and I'm also not the host, but you would see this little icon, you'd be able to click it and mute the kids. So say, hey man, calm down a second, take a chill, and I'll tell you when to unmute yourself. What you can also do is, this is the button for removing students. So if you absolutely are having an issue with a kid, you need to just remove them from the room. Same deal as if you're in school and they're just becoming such a distraction and a problem, you need to remove them. You can go ahead and click this button here. What I will say is you can also jump into the chat if people are being problematic in here. We do have an update coming where we'll be able to disable the chat. We haven't gotten it yet, but it is coming. So that will be a nice feature for us as well. What else you have in control is if anyone is trying to get into your Meet that's not a Millville domain account, so not a student, not a teacher, what will happen is once they try to enter the Meet, you'll get a little, I think it's like a little bell that rings, you get a little notification, and you'll see that they're trying to enter the Meet. And basically you can either allow them to enter or you can deny them. And the nice thing is that the feature, it's either here already or it's coming, that if you deny a person access, I think twice, then they will no longer be able to even attempt to join the Meet. It'll just block them completely. So they won't keep bothering you, like somebody just constantly like knocking on your door. Nobody wants that. So that's a way you can control any non-Millville accounts. So if you did have a parent or a guest speaker or somebody coming in, obviously you can still let them in, but it's up to you to decide who comes in and who doesn't if they're not Millville. So the other nice thing is that we'll see here, look, there is no phone number here for anyone to call into because we do not want them calling in, because I know we had some issues with that. And if you are still having issues with that, definitely reach out to your ambassador, or better yet, IT, because something is going a little wonky there. What I have seen is that if you made your meet through Calendar, like me, for example, I set up virtual office hours through Calendar. And I know that when I still go in to check that, I'm still seeing the phone information right here. So that's something that I personally noticed. And I recommend that you just go ahead and jump into your meet if you have one and just pop open the little meet details and just check. And if you see a phone number here, you definitely want to let somebody know. If it's through Calendar, you might want to make a fresh one. So redo your Calendar meets if you're still seeing the number there and you want it to go away. But again, let somebody know, because something's not going right there, because as far as I've seen, it's turned off for everyone, but it seems to be popping up here and there. So we're trying to diagnose that. The other thing I wanted to mention is recording. Okay. So I know a lot of people have had things happen in their chat, or they want to just record just to make sure if something happens, they have, a recording of it. They have evidence that it happened. So what you can do in a meet, and I probably won't see it here because again, I'm not the host, or it won't let me do it maybe. You can choose to record. And when you record the meeting, obviously it's recording everything on your screen. But what it also does is it downloads a copy of the chat transcript. So if you need some kind of copy of what was going on in the chat, somebody said something they weren't supposed to, when you do a recording, you will also get that transcript. Now, my final thing I will say, and I will pop back over here and stop sharing my screen, is that after September 30th, Google was really awesome and gave us access to a lot of premium features that we wouldn't normally get. But after September 30th, what's going to happen for our district is that we will only be able to have temporary recordings. That means you can still record your meets and get the transcripts and everything, but they will only be available on your drive for 30 days. And you won't be able to download them according to Google, and you won't be able to share them outside of the district, so outside of Millville accounts. So that's just something to keep in mind. For a lot of you, that might work well, because you can tell your kids, hey, you've got 30 days to catch up. Better go watch that me recording. But, it's something to keep in mind. So you could also try something like Screencastify if you want to keep a recording longer, reuse it for something. So that's just some stuff to remember. But that's about it. So again, there's more features coming, and we'll definitely let you know when they do arrive. We just have to be a little patient.
Thanks, Meg. So I guess I'm up now. And I'm going to talk about breakout rooms, and I'm going to show you some of my friends here in the different breakout rooms, and we're going to get creative with it. I see there's a lot of people in the chat right now talking about your experiences. That's great. I know the ambassadors and myself will answer anything we can, but if you're experiencing specific issues, it's a little bit difficult to troubleshoot just by hearing like random comments. Like, it's really helpful if you can explain exactly how you set up your Meet link. Like, do you have your Meet link in Classroom? Have you disabled your Meet link? Not just disabled and shown it, but like reset the actual meeting link, because that's something you were able to do too, as Meg was just talking about. We have to know all of those details, and we are actually not IT, but we will support as much as we can. And then if we think it's something bigger, then of course we would turn it over to them. But please make sure you document, otherwise we have no idea. And also, I know people are, I'm assuming, I can't see the chat right now because I'm talking, but if you are having your link through Google Classroom, you can reset. I think, Meg, you just did this, right? You can reset the Google Meet link. So if you've never done that, that might be something to try as well. Okay, so you guys got the chat, right? All right, I'm going to show my screen right now. And I'm going to walk you through how I do breakout rooms. And hopefully you can do them too. If you want to, you don't have to. Now, I think the big thing to consider when we're talking about breakout rooms or anything is like, what are we going to do with them? I know sometimes, especially in this like wild time, we think to ourselves like, oh, this will help me. I think it's really important to think about the tools and what we're going to do with them instead of just over-tooling ourselves and our students and their parents. It gets to be a lot. So let me show you how I set this up, and then you can decide if you like this, or I can give you other ways that it works, and plenty more too. So I am in my Google Classroom right now. I have my link disabled. Meg already said this, but I just want to reiterate. Even if people can see this link, unless you have an MPS Google account, you can't sign in with this link. It'll pop up and say, do you want to accept this person? And it'll tell me their name. I'm going to deny it because all of my students are in 6th grade. They all have Google Classroom. I'm not going to accept random people. The only way I would accept somebody is if I knew what maybe I invited, I don't know, a guardian wanted to watch a lesson or something, and I could see their name and they got approval ahead of time. That's fine. That's the difference here. So let me talk about what I do with my breakout rooms. This link right here takes me to my classroom Google Meet. So like this is my classroom Google Meet. It's just me and myself. Obviously it's disabled. I randomly reset it. I don't have to, I just choose to. But what I want you to pay attention to is this end code right here. Do you see it? That's just like a nickname for my room. So if I highlighted this whole thing, I highlighted it and I copied it, I can paste right here, and I can change the end of this here. So I can give it any nickname I want. I can say breakout Decept 1. I can do whatever I want with that. So let me show you how I give this information to kids. Oh, let me tell you. I can do breakout Decept 1, but then I can make another room, and I could do breakout Decept 2. So I could have multiple rooms happening at the same exact time with all different Meet codes, and I could easily give these out. Now let me show you how I deliver it to them. I know some people will put it like in their Google Classroom. I've seen in the resources we're going to give you at the end, like the example that I show you in Google Classroom is the person gives it as a topic and calls it like room 1, room 2, room 3, room 4, room 5. And as they randomly sort groups and stuff or divide people up, she'll say like, hey, you guys jump to room 1, you guys jump to room 3, and she just does it that way and they're permanently open. For me, what I choose to do is I give them a slide like this one. So there's 2 different ways that I've been doing this. I ask the kids towards the beginning of the year, well, it is the beginning of the year. The first few days I asked them what are their favorite groups. And I got these names. So I named our teams after some of their favorite groups. And then when I divide them up, like let's say I'm putting them to 4 different groups, I would say, all right, Jen and Justin, you're the Avengers. Alicia and Meg, you're Little Mix. Like I could divide them up that way. Then they could just click the door and go into my Meet. So here's an example of one. This is 3 different rooms. And what I'll do is instead of obviously if I have an hour-long class, I'm not going to talk to them for an hour. I know it's probably difficult to get away from the lecture because it feels like, what else do we do? But it's obviously imperative. You know, you're bored when we talk to you for 10 minutes. So in this case, we have 3 rooms set up. The first room, they can come in if they want to work with me. So I might present something for 10 minutes and then say like, all right, guys, here's the activity. If you want to work with me, come to this room. If you want to work with your friends, like you would like to work and chat, that's fine. I can see what they're doing in Google Classroom anyway. And then the last one is maybe they just want to work independently and they don't want to listen to my voice. They want to put on their earbuds and listen to music or whatever they want to do. So I actually disabled one link so I can show you how I put this together. And I already have my things linked. I gave my nicknames. Actually, I think I did the wrong one. Yes, I did. So I'm going to go to Insert, Link. And remember I told you that very long link that I just copied from Google Classroom, so right up here. I'm just going to come here and I'm going to change it to Decept 1. I can make this one Insert Link, paste it again, and I'll call this Decept 2. Insert Link, I'll paste it right here, and I'm going to call it Decept 3. Now when I'm ready for the kids, like during a Meet, I usually come up here, and this is optional. I come up here and see the word edit, I highlight here, and I'll type present. If I do that, this is what happens. It gives me presenting mode. So I'll copy this URL, and then I'm going to come right here. Here's my Google Meet with my friends. I have Meg, Jen, me, and Justin all in a Google Meet. So over in the chat, I'm going to say, all right, time for our activity. Pick your workspace. Hopefully you all pick something different. Meg, you pick work with Ms. DeZeppola. Justin, you pick work collaboratively. Jen, you pick work independently, just so I can show the people what they want to see. So they're going to click on those doors that I have open right here. And remember, they have to have an MPS account to get in. So I'm going to open these rooms. I mentioned, and I know Meg mentioned too, with Google, you can be in a ton of rooms at the same time. There's no limit. Well, there probably is a limit. I just haven't reached it. All right, so I've got my 3 rooms. Let's see who's coming. So here's one room. Meg, hi. And then this is Decept 2. Nobody's in here yet. Are you guys going to join me? Or are you just messing with me? I hope not. Leave it to your friends to mess with you in the middle of a presentation.
Sorry, I'm working on it.
Okay, just click on the door. Oh, you clicked on the independent door? Oh, maybe I did the wrong. Are you sure you clicked on the independent door? I think I'm there. Look, yeah, I'm already there.
It's taking me to the Teams room.
Oh, maybe I linked to the wrong one. You guys, if I just think wrong, yell at me. All right, let me click on this again. Insert link. This is Decept 1. I'm going to insert this link. Oops.
We're seeing behind the scenes.
What'd you say?
We get to see behind the scenes. This is
Right.
actually better. Nothing works perfectly the first
Right
time
before
you do
this
it.
started, I was like, oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to delete all my links and show them how to put it together. But then there's just this weird energy of like anxiety when you're presenting live. You guys know from presenting with your students. All right, so I'm going to change this. Everybody get out of my meets. I'm sorry that I messed you up. I'm making this one Decept 1. And now I'll make this one Decept 2. And make sure, you know what? Make sure you click on the doors, Jen and Justin, because I think I did have this link to the signs for my actual class that I do this with. So actually click on the doors. Because like I said, I do use this. All right. If you guys want to do a quick refresh, now you should be able to click on. All right, there, look, I did it right this time, guys. Thank God. All right, so here's Jen. She's in room 3. Let's see my other friends. Here's Meg. This is room 1. Justin is ditching me, and anybody who knows Justin knows we're best friends. So I feel like you're doing this on purpose. I can't. You're messing with me. All right, here's Jen. Here's Meg. Justin, I'll never forgive you. I gave you 2 examples. This was the, I don't even want you now. It's too late. So here's Justin in here. Here's Jen in here. Here's Meg in here. And I know people have said, like, there's times I'll be in a whole meet. And I got this idea from Ashley Bartholomew I thought was cute. She said, like, she'll play a song when she'll have the kids working on something, or like maybe they'll take a break and she'll play a song. And at the end of the song, it's done. Like, it's time to come back from your restroom break, your stretch break, whatever you're doing. And something else that I have done, and I know I've talked to, now you left me, Justin. Something else that I've done, I know other people have done too, is just sometimes if you're working together, maybe Meg says, I'm really confused, can you help me? I might throw up a quick little meet link and put it in the chat and say, jump in here, Meg, and help her privately. It's like I'm pulling her to the side. But there's many ways to do this. But let me walk you through this again, and I apologize, but you can see, nobody's perfect, clearly. I thought I was helping myself out. I made things very complicated for myself. But what I wanted to tell you was, I'm giving you a doc that has all these resources in it. and I gave you this, and you can either make it your own, you can design your own. This is not the only way to do this, to set up your breakout rooms. So this is my Google Classroom, for example, and I can highlight this link and do exactly what I was just showing you. I could come to classwork, and I could make a topic called breakout rooms, or maybe come up with a cuter name, like team rooms or workspaces. I like that better, I think. Maybe you could theme them after something. So I can call them workspaces, and then I could actually just add them as like a material. So I could say like, this is, what's a cute name for room 1? Oof. I'm thinking on the spot. So we'll do this Google related. We can call this Red Room. Now I'm gonna add a link. So now I'm gonna change this one to, again, I'm just giving this as an example, to step 1, add link. Oh, these kids are gonna come on here. This is a wonderful class, but they are really, I can't post this because they'll jump right on. This is a good class, but they are really excited. But I could name all different rooms and have them listed here. And then when I divide them up, it could just be something that's open. Now I do want to mention, I actually have a Chromebook right here, and I'm signed in as a student. So if I try to open up the room, I'll show you what they get, just so you guys can feel a little bit more confident. And then additional way, I'm opening up right now. Additional ways you could do this would be to post them in a Google Doc. They don't need to be a Google slide deck. That's just how I prefer for aesthetics, but you do what works for you. So it comes up that they're not able to start the meeting because they're a student. So as long as you're the last person in a Google Meet, there's no problem with that. And then I want to talk, let's just go back over this real quick. And then Meg, let's talk about updates so they know what is coming. And they can feel good about, I think this is a huge month for Google. And Meg did talk to a few people and find out that like we're not rapid release, right? We're scheduled release. So we are, if you're on Twitter or something, or you're in like Google education groups on Facebook, you're noticing people already have these things. We didn't get them that way, but it's fine. It's coming. So let me come back to my Meet with all my friends. And I want to show you that I can easily remove people from the meeting. So like, let's say Meg was giving me dirty looks or something. And Jen is screaming. Jen, can you unmute yourself and just start singing a song? I don't know why. Never mind. We don't need to hear that. So I muted her real quick just by clicking on the mic. I could do the same for Justin. I know in the EdTech Tuesday recommendations yesterday, Justin did show us like keyboard shortcuts that he does with his 6th graders. I've seen Nina Crane and many others do the signs. I think that's really important for the sake of digital literacy. But we know now it's been, what is this, our 9th day of virtual learning this school year? And a lot of us did it last spring too. We know what's working-ish and what's not working, and now's the time to make adjustments based on our needs. All right, what did I say I was going to do? I don't know. Meg, I said I was going to do something. Let's go back and let's talk about the updates together while I try to remember. All right, so let's talk about what's coming.
So what's coming? Actually, you know, let me see. I can just bring up the
I'll bring
page
it up
and
for
just
you.
kind of roll through it. Okay. I have so many things on my screen right now. I'm sure you don't have a lot on your screen. What am I talking about? Okay, so this is an update from Google that came out, I believe, in August. And I'm actually following what's called the G Suite Updates blog, and I'm getting stuff through my email so I can kind of keep track of stuff for everyone. So in this big web post that they did, there's a lot on there. And I want to say 2 important things. So Alicia already mentioned, under each update that they're showing, they also give you a date range for when they're calling it the rollout. So they roll out these features. So they can't just push it to everybody at once. There's just way too many people using it. So what they do is they roll it out in stages. So our district is on what's called scheduled release. So that means we don't get things as quickly as some other places. So I just want to comfort everyone that's seeing all these people on Twitter, like Alicia said, like, oh, I got this great. Oh, this is great. I love using this. They might have gotten it before us. It doesn't mean we're not going to get it. So if we are looking at a website like this, we want to look at where it says schedule release, and that will give us an idea of when we're going to see it. And usually it's like a date range, because again, they roll it out to like certain districts at a time just to make it manageable. So we do have to be a little bit more patient than some districts are in when we actually get the features. But what's coming is, and in fact, I'm going to have that up on my screen because I'm on my laptop over here and I cannot see anything. But she had up control for moderators, I think it was.
Do you want me to share that again?
Yeah, you can show it. I just can't. I know everyone else can probably see it, but it's really tiny on my screen. So I'm looking over here too. I have like 2 computers around me. So basically what's going to happen is we're going to see more control for you guys. So we've already seen a lot of things come up since the summer. But one big thing I know that I was excited about at the beginning of the year was that now in classroom, we can keep students from getting in before us. So that was like a big, big problem in the spring. And it seems like they have fixed that issue. So that's one thing we've already got. The other thing I know, the tile view. The tile view is a great concern for a lot of people, because I know some of us have really big classes. I know it doesn't always work perfectly between Google Meet and the extensions we're using. And all I can say is just we have to do the best we can. There's no perfect solution when you're talking about using extensions that other people are making to work with Meet. Stuff doesn't always work perfectly. So we're just going to try our best. But what's coming is a larger grid view that's going to be built into Meet, and that's going to be 7x7 tiles. So you'll be able to see up to 49 people at once. So again, we may not see it for a few weeks still, I think, because of the way that our district's set up for the releases, but it is coming. So that's something to look forward to. What we're also going to see coming soon is blurring of backgrounds. Now, we are not a district that's going to get the fun backgrounds where we can upload whatever picture we want. Unfortunately, that's not something that our district is set up for, but we are going to get the background blur. So this, I think, will be helpful for teachers and students, and may even help students who are hesitant to get on camera based upon their home surroundings. And again, there could be a variety of reasons for that, but what it will do is allow you to be on camera, but have the background blurred behind you for safety and security and just for privacy, you know, stuff like that. So that's another thing that's coming. I think that will be useful. What we are going to also see is we have the Nod extension right now, so it's not as big of a deal, but we're going to see something built into Meet for hand raising and stuff like that. So what we use Nod for right now, Google will be building something into Meet to do the same thing. So again, we've got the extension, so we can actually already do this okay without it, but it is coming. So those are just a few of the things. And again, they keep coming out with more and more, updates. It just depends on how quickly they can get them to us. So unfortunately, I wish we could get everything right now all at once, but we are kind of at the mercy of Google and how quickly they can get things to us, but stuff is coming.
Cool. I want to go back because I remembered what I wanted to tell you guys. I wanted to talk about muting, because I did get people reach out to me and they were saying that, like, sometimes when they're working in a Google Meet, like the teacher might say, and like I said, you do what works for your group and your learning environment, but the teacher might say, all right, everyone, like, now I'm going to ask you to work on your activity. I'll play a few songs and I'll let you know when it's time to come back together. And a lot of kids will probably turn off their camera. I don't like having my camera on, so I would turn off my camera. So something that other kids might want to do would be to mute the tab. Now I want to talk about 2 different things here. So to mute a tab, up at the top, you can right click on a tab and go to mute site. That's great if you're only in one Google Meet, because it's going to mute all of Google Meet. Now, here's where it gets a little bit sticky. I'm the teacher. So I told you guys I have 3 different breakout rooms happening at the same time, 3 different workspaces, whatever I want to do. Now I need to mute individual tabs. If I click mute site, it's going to mute every Google Meet. So Google always has workarounds, or there's an extension, there's always something. And the one that I'm using with my kids is this mute tab extension. And I actually added in the chat, and we'll put it in the description under the video after this is over, because I do want to let you go, but I'm also going to answer some of your questions here too. So if you want to stay, you're welcome to stay. Let me finish this. So here's my little mute tab extension. All I do is click on it, and that's when it has the M, that means the tab is muted. So I could easily ask the teacher, I could come here and I could make all my screens smaller and have all my meets open. Like here's another meet. I could have all my meets open in one place, make them smaller, see everything, but I could have them all muted. And then if I see this group right here is getting a little bit rowdy, I might want to unmute that and hear what's happening there. You know, and I can keep myself muted on all of them too, or I could also keep myself unmuted. And then when I want them to come back, I'm like, all right, guys, let's get back together and let's keep moving, my friends. That's truly just a preference. But like I said, I did put in the chat that link. I do want to mention 2 more things before I start going through all of your questions. I see there's quite a few of them. I did give you on that resource page, I gave you this link, this example. And I think I left my links on there because I did make a copy, like I said. You can either go to File and make a copy of this, you can create your own, or you can not do it this way at all. You can decide to do it like I was talking about in Google Classroom or put it on a doc. You do what works best for you. You don't have to reset it every time. So like I put my links on here and they stay exactly the same. Once you kick all the kids out, they can't come back in anymore. Like that's it. I'm the person who organizes it. Kids can't start the meets by themselves. So I keep mine exactly the same. And I actually do use the nickname to step 1, 2, or 3. So none of you teachers better jump on and try to meet bomb me. See, that's not a thing. It's not funny with Google Meet because you have to have an MPS account to join it. Yeah, so I'm going to go now. Please make sure if you're here, make sure you sign in so we can see who came today. I'm going to share that resource link one more time in the chat. I'm going to share it one more time in the chat. And then also, if you want to stay as I answer these questions, you're welcome to stay. Me, Justin, Meg, and Jen will all be answering the questions, not just me. And or if you want to leave, you can leave too once you sign in. I'm going to post it right here. I have several thousand tabs open, and it's not going well. Where are you? Here you guys are. I'm going to post the resources one more time. Make sure you sign in. We will obviously be turning that off in a little bit. All right, now I'm going to go through and answer some questions. Are you guys ready? My panel of experts, experts-ish. All right. I think we talked about these. Did you guys see any big questions that you want to yell out at me that you've seen? No? Okay.
There's one.
No, and I couldn't find the questions when I went to the video, so I'm sorry. I would have answered them as they were coming in.
There are a few. I'm investigating some new information, but I'm still looking at it. So I'm going to be reaching out to you after this is over.
Diane, you have the GridView app and you can only see 16. You might have to enable it. Once you install it, you still have to enable it. That might be where you're going wrong. If you want to send, when you're on your next Google Meet, if you want to like let either me or your ambassadors, Jen and Justin are here, if you want to let us know, one of us can either come or you can take a little screenshot or Screencastify and show us. We can guide it a little bit further. Ted, no. An outside individual can't get in with a code because you have to have an MPS account.
There's concern about the sign-in
Well, I'm
sheet.
not. That's on the resource page. Just go to the doc. What's wrong with the sign-in?
I think they're saying it's not.
42 people have done it, so it worked for 42 people.
Okay.
Yes, you can name the breakout rooms the same thing every day. Kara, thank you for that tip. You guys can come back and watch this. It's recorded, so you can zip around and do whatever you want. If you're having issues losing sound. With 1 or 2 students, they lost their sound. Okay, so Lido, one of the things that, aside from just internet connectivity, you know what? I can email you. Gloria Perez from IT sent me a really helpful resource she got from someone in another district that was talking about like quality of Google accounts. And they were saying like when somebody has too many things like installed, sometimes it can like cause an issue. But as far as sound goes, are you using a headset or are you just using the built-in mic with your laptop? And you might want to take a video of it, and that way we can at least show IT if it's an IT issue. It's a Google slide. How are they able to click the door link? So the way that I shared it, Carol, if you want to go back when this is done, I'll actually, you know what, I'll share my screen and do it again real quick for everybody who's staying for that. My friends who are on the panel, I'm leaving off at 1:23. I'm going to share my screen. Can you go through the other questions and make sure I'm answering everything? Good. Yes, Jen, Justin, Meg. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show this whole thing again because I know I did probably confuse you. All right. So here is not what I want to show you. All right. Here's was the example that I showed you, and I talked about my classroom. So here's my Google Classroom, and what I did was I came up here and I copied this Meet link. Now, when I come here, this is the example that I don't want to show you. I'm going back to editing because I don't want to edit my example. All right, here is my Google slide deck. I copied my link from Classroom. Then I came here. And now I'm going to add links to my doors. So I told you can keep them exactly the same. It's just creating a room. So I can click on one door and I can go to Insert, Link, or I can right click and I can go to Insert Link as well, but I can paste the link right here. So this is the link that I got from my Google Classroom. I can change the nickname at the end and I can call it whatever I want. I'll call it Step 1. And then I would just link every single door with a different nickname. So that way it's 3 separate rooms. And then I would do the same thing. These are 2 different rooms. Let me be clear about that. I could do the same thing here, but I can actually keep those nicknames because if your students are working, usually I do one or the other. I'm never going to do all of these at the same time. So I can still keep this one, a nickname, 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 just add a 4th one there or whatever I need. Obviously, when you make your own copy, you can delete me. You don't want that Bitmoji.
And then just to be clear, Alicia, you then joined those rooms first, correct?
Yes, I joined those rooms first, so I'm the host.
Okay.
Because actually, if I give this to my students, like I was just explaining on the Chromebook, as a student, they can't even join the room unless I'm in there. It's just the way it's set up when we use nicknames with Google Meet in an education domain. The other thing, I think Carol Ann asked this, was that how do they click on the door if it's in a Google slide? So right now I'm in editing mode. I could easily share this in editing mode, but it's kind of annoying, I think, to click here and then have to click that link. So I like to share it in present mode. So what I do is I come up here to the web address at the top, and then I just highlight this last part. See, from the word edit and on, I highlight it, and I change this to present. And now what it's going to give me, I just think it works better, especially for students, this present mode thing. So now, see how when they mouse over my door, now it's this little pointer finger, so I know it's clickable. So I can click on any of these and enter my Meet, which I'm not going to do now. So then I could just highlight this, copy it, and paste it in my Google Classroom. I could paste it actually in the Meet, like I was in a Meet with my students, Jen, Justin, and Meg. I could paste it in the chat in the Meet, however is working best for you. All right, what other questions did I miss? I know there's a lot of specific questions with specific struggles, and we feel for you because obviously we are going through all of this too, but it's hard to troubleshoot when we don't have information. And you guys don't have to chat that you're here. You can just, I'll post one more time, I'll post that resource doc, and you can, and you can just sign in that way. Am I missing any other questions? No?
A lot of people are answering each other, which is good to see. I'm not seeing.
Here's the resource doc again. All right, guys.
So
Those
if
are
you
your
change
resources.
class codes, do you have to change the breakout room codes too?
No.
Okay.
Good question, but no. And you can change those breakout room codes at any time as well. And actually, there's other ways to do this. This is the workaround that is just very easy for me. However, there is an entire extension that I gave you the tutorial for that has like a breakout room setup. I found it when I followed those steps. It wasn't necessarily that it was hard. I just found for what I was looking for, I didn't need all of that. I felt like this just did the same job and it was great. But you can do what works best for you. That's the beauty of this kind of thing. We're all learning and adapting. Like we have to be flexible, of course. I'm just gonna, I think the link there to the resources and the sign-in sheet is on the resource page too. I know I also put it in the chat, but you don't have to tell me that you're here. You can just add your name. Switching the class code. Do you have to? Oh, I already answered that. All right, I think we got through most of them. If we didn't, you can email any one of us. This is recorded. It'll be available at the same exact link. I know this was kind of a lot of information, but all over the place. We also have that resource doc that is both going to stay in the chat and I'll put it in the description. But if you already opened it, it's also in your shared with me on your Google Drive. So you can add it to your drive as well. Thank you for joining us on this afternoon, this lovely afternoon. And thank you for all you do. And we'll see everybody soon. Thanks for watching.